Greetings and salutations. You are watching Pop Goes VR, episode number 3. Today we are going to be talking about the Amazon series Upload. My name is Danthol. I'm here with my co-host Ryan. How's it going, Ryan?
Not too bad, man. Not too bad. Things are hectic on my end, trying to balance out all my stuff. But, we're here for another episode. This time, except we're covering something more recent than last episode's Lawnmower Man, which I thoroughly enjoyed. So now we're going to talk about, like I said,
Yes.
Upload.
Upload. It's the Amazon series. They released all 10 episodes at once. They're going the Netflix route of shows. I don't know. Would you call that the Netflix? Netflix did it first. Just recent whole series at once, and now Amazon's doing whole series at once. And is Hulu doing that? Does anybody watch Hulu anymore? There's too many commercials on Hulu.
It should be the way everybody does it. I can't stand now Netflix is doing it with their the train one. They're releasing one episode per week, whatever it's called. And I'm like, I want to binge. Like, I'm used to binging, so Upload was nice to binge that and not have to go back to that weekly episodic garbage.
It's such an American thing to do.
Yes.
The binging is so American, yes. Anyways, Upload is a 2020 series that is, it's new. It's brand new. It just came out, had the season 1. When did it come out? Not too long ago, like a couple months ago. And they released all 10 episodes at once. The basic plot premise is it's the year 2033, which doesn't seem, that's 13 years from now, right? That's not a long time. But they have some pretty weird futuristic stuff in there, the technologies and everything. But the core technology is the ability to upload your brain into a digital version of yourself. And the digital version of yourself can choose to live in a number of realities that exist. But the realities all owned by mega corporations and stuff like that. And they're mega corporations. They're things that are corporations in corporations, like Oscar Mayer, Intel.
Yeah, it's like if Facebook built the Matrix for people. That's exactly how Upload feels. It's monetized, everything in there isn't free. Once you're uploaded and you're in your digital afterlife, everything is still, if you eat food, that costs you digital money. If you go in, like, you want to go horseback riding, everything costs you money. So you're constantly being nickel and dimed. Ads still pop up. Like, it's very much a modern take on how we just surf the internet, but now you are actually surfing the internet kind of thing. It's, I thought it really surreal. Lots of different topics as far as, like, death and the afterlife and, like, how we just view souls. There's a whole episode about that we'll talk about next episode. Like, a lot of depth for, I was surprised at just kind of how deep the whole world was as opposed to the story, I guess. I was kind of impressed. I was impressed.
So the lead in this is Nathan Brown, who's kind of, I guess people would say, a hunky guy. He's, the Hollywood, kind of chiseled features, hot body, brown hair, glaring, eyes. Glaring's not the right thing. The eyes that just look into you. That's the whole thing. He's supposed to be like this Adonis, a super smart guy who's good looking and does sponsorships by L'Oreal and things like that. So they kind of establish him as being the Hollywood douchebag type of character. And episode 1, we see him go through a series of events, and essentially his brain gets kind of just like disapparated, I would say, by this device. Just scans your brain, burns your head, and then by doing that, it can store all of your memories and your personality to put you into the Upload.
Yeah, so like I said, without spoiling too much, he dies a really weird death. There's some dubious circumstances to his death, and basically the story follows his journey not only through the afterlife, dealing with the fact that he's still very much living in his mind, but he's not. He's a digital apparition of himself, I guess. But there's this whole outside real world story where basically he kind of has to figure out if his death was accidental or, like I said, possibly on purpose. And he meets his handler, his angel, if you will, or that's what they call him, rather. Mm-hmm. And his angel is basically like his guide through this digital afterlife. And, romance quickly ensues. And it kind of starts that whole storyline off. But I really just dug like just how surreal the afterlife was. It gets nuts. The story gets deeper. He makes some friends. He meets a kid, for instance, that's like, or he's been in there for like what 8 years, I think it was, and he still looks
Mm.
like a 9-year-old. And because that's just how he was digitally uploaded. So there's an episode where they basically go to um, the Gray Tower or something they call it like that. I can't remember now. This tower that basically an illegal like underground operation. You can
Yeah.
kind of purchase uploads and upgrades or whatever for your avatar, right? So this kid goes and gets his upgrade to basically hit puberty, and hilarity ensues in that episode as well. It's just there's so many different topics to talk about. I don't know really where to start. It's just I really enjoy it. Overall, I really enjoyed this series. It very much felt like the Matrix. Like it basically felt like if humans made the Matrix first, and then the robots came behind and were like, "Yeah, we're gonna use this and turn you all into slaves." But your first idea was really good. Like that's kind of how it felt to me.
Yeah. The initial gripe I have about the show, 2033 just doesn't seem far enough in the future. Like there's a scene where the little girl says to Nathan Brown, the lead, come help me with my classical dance. And then they go in the room and they dance to 90s music. And I'm like, no. Because it's the difference between 2033 and now is the difference between 2007 and now. This doesn't seem like the technology has moved enough. They should have put that show further in the future, I think. I would have enjoyed the sci-fi aspect of it, and I would have been able to believe it a little bit. But if that's the case, if this kid's been in there for 8 years, that means that the brain technology was invented, do the math, 2025. So 5 years from now, we're going to be able to take memories and do that. That's a crazy kind of thing to say, that's how quickly technology is going to advance on this. And then they had these hand phone things where you go, and I'll see if I can get some kind of technology and go with my hand and put like what the phone looks like in there. I'll do it. This one will be easy. Anyways, you do that with your hand, and here's your phone, and I guess it's projected by your watch. I'm like, what's going on with this technology in 2033? All of their cars are these self-driving cars that are like we haven't even seen like a model of it, but the dude's already driving his car around with the PlayStation controller. That was kind of I was like, the whole time I'm like, I want to take this technology seriously. I want to believe that the head frying thing that brings you in technology is good. So you have to suspend a lot of disbelief. If you're a hardcore sci-fi fan, you're going to be like, oh no, this isn't right. This isn't right. They talk about the technologies, but they don't in technology movies or things like that, and it's fictional numbers. The numbers are never right. Whenever you use actual numbers in technology movies or things like that, and it's fictional numbers, the numbers are never right.
Well, that's what makes it fun. That's what makes it fun is when you get those numbers, and then down the road we get to go back. In 2033, we can watch the show and be like, "Look how much they got wrong," because we love doing that. We love going to Back to the Future and Terminator and seeing what that year was like, and then be like, "Look, they totally didn't get anything right." It's really good. I wanted to talk about the sex suits. I thought that was hilarious. And just because it was,
the hug suits. They're called hug suits.
Yeah, okay,
sir.
they're hug suits.
Hug suits.
And so the first episode has his girlfriend Ingrid going to go and rent one, and she goes to the hug suit rental store for a rather disgusting little moment. It's not. I mean, the show is like M rated, like a hard M, I guess. It's more topical. There's no like nudity or anything like that. But
they say the F word a lot.
Yeah. But it's just language. There's nothing too bad beyond that. I guess there's some violence too. Basically to kind of dial it back at the sex stuff, I guess. But anyway, she goes to the rental shop, and that doesn't go so well. Understandably so, in my personal opinion. So then she goes and buys one, and it shows our lead there. He's in his bedroom, and his girlfriend walks in this sexy lingerie. This is in the digital world, and it shows her look all like super hot and stuff like that. And then it shows her in the real world, and she has this like giant like suit on, like it's massive. It looks like it's built for like a person 3 times larger than her. She is.
It's a dive suit.
Yeah, and it's because it has all these.
It's a dive suit that's too big for her.
Yeah, and it has all these like stuff inside it, so she can get all the sensations of intimacy. And it's just hilarious. I thought I died, and I know like that was totally something that could totally happen in like the next few years. Someone is inspired by this show and is making one right now. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't know about the finger suit. How would those articulate and move around? Once again, they do a lot of jokes and things like that for the
Yes,
visual
yes.
aspect of it. They don't. So you have, like I'm saying, you have to suspend the disbelief and just go with. They want to make some memorable moments. They want to make a scene that you can take a little clip and put the little clip on YouTube, and it's 15 to 30 seconds long, and people go ha 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 ha. That's the way that this show kind of works. It has that kind of sensibility. The show was made by, I have the name here, Greg Daniels. He did Parks and Recreation and The Office and King of the Hill. So he's done a couple of big things. This show felt kind of like Silicon Valley, HBO Silicon Valley. That's Mike Judge, and it's different, but I almost feel like they stole some of the aesthetic, mainly because they have one of the actors from the Silicon Valley. So I see it, I'm like, oh, this is Silicon Valley, kind of the same way they handle the technology and the jokes and the things that whatever. I so what's your the first five episodes really give us an introduction of what's going on. First episode we're seeing Nathan adjusting to where he's at. The next episode we get to see a little bit of Nora, who is his angel, his handler, and her life. She works at a company called Horizon. It's kind of like Verizon and in that, and it's Horizon like Facebook Horizon, the virtual reality thing. She works at this company where she helps the uploads manage their lives. They live in like a really Lakeview Estates. It's like a hotel and it's really nice. And you can go and see nature and you can turn a dial and hey, it's August. Hey, it's winter. Hey, it's this. So the outside, you can experience different realities. And if you want to go, there's like a room that can be a church or it can be a bowling alley or it can be any number of things. So it's like this really nice resort that you just live on and other people live on there. But it's a massive, they show you later that it's a server and it's a stack and you can only see the people that are on these things and stuff like that. The rules they have for all of that's kind of weird, but they're all plot devices more than they are science fiction kind of stuff. But it's fun. It's fun to see virtual reality treated this way, to be taken
For
seriously.
sure, for sure, for sure. I totally back you. Like you do have to suspend some disbelief, or suspend belief, I guess. But like I said, what they do with the tech, and they make it really, like I said, they make it fun, they make it interesting. They do showcase like the potential future of VR, which I really do dig. The first five episodes, I was impressed. I wasn't sure what the show was about. I mean, I saw the little preview where he goes all like Minecrafty, but beyond that, they kind of really focused on that. But watching the show, it's very much heavy on the romance. It's actually very heavy on the relationship between him and Nora, which
Hmm.
kind of surprised me. That ended up being a very, very huge plot point in the series, which kind of, for me, kind of went on a bit too long. Not too long, but there was just too much time devoted to their romance, I guess, if you want to call it that. But beyond that, I mean, I was cracking up some of the jokes. The concierge, that AI program there, who's like everywhere, he's every role. I'm not sure if
Hmm.
that guy's a bad actor or if he's so good at bad acting. I loved his role. He's so terrible, and it like because his he plays every single, like he's the concierge, he's like a butler, he's like your everything, and
Right.
he always has like a really terrible accent for different roles. When he's the caddy, and he's like, "Oh, can I pass you that club,
Hmm.
Mister?" And it's the worst Scottish accent you've ever heard. I died, but he's supposed to be this like really crappy AI
Yeah.
program. So I every time he was on scene, I cracked up. I love that character.
Yeah, Owen Daniels, I Googled him a little bit. He has a YouTube channel where he interviews Hollywood celebrities and stuff. There's a one where he interviews Adam Sandler and other comedians and stuff like that. So he's been in other things as well. He's been the voice of stuff. The so yeah, I liked that character too. It's kind of weird. He was a bad actor. Like there's a scene where he's giving them horses to ride so you can go ride in the wilderness, and he's like and he's just making a goofy face and just kind of one of his longer scenes where he just looks awkward. Later he has some
Oh yeah,
he's in
oh
pretty
yeah.
much every episode, just little things. He's the comedy relief. He's the segue when the scene needs to change, then he'll do something goofy and it'll reset the scene so they can go do something else. Like the first 5 episodes, I want to do like what's the high point you thought of those, and what was the low point you thought of those. I'll go first on that. The high point was for me when they're wheeling him through the hospital right before they scan his head and everything like that, and you know that something's not right. There's intrigue, there's all that kind of thing going on, and then him waking up in the afterlife, your digital afterlife, and that whole experience. I really liked that because I think they just did a genuine job of Nora as the angel saying, think of the color blue, do your ABCs, and you can see the digital consciousness come, and she says, now I want you to think. Yeah, I am, as in I think, therefore I am. And it builds like this waveform of a thing that kind of shows like, oh, that is all so cool. That was like my super high point, is that's how I would imagine something like that would work well to wake up a digital upload. And then the low point for me when he was at his own funeral, and she just whips out her phone, pulls out her phone, and threatens to delete him. He's at his own funeral, and she's threatening to delete him, and everybody else is just kind of watching. That'd be scandalous. People would be angry with her and yelling at her and things like that. There's no way people would be ignoring that was going on. And just that you can do that, and that you're recognized as a digital life, but you don't have any rights. That somebody can literally just own you. That part of it was like, oh, I really don't like that. That's really dark and kind of Black Mirror kind of thing. That was the Black Mirror aspect of the show that it didn't need to have. Because it is, people will say this is based on an episode of Black Mirror called San Junipero, where it's a digital afterlife kind of thing where you live in a hotel or in a place and you things and you whatever. And it cribs that. The author of this show, the writer, producer, whatever, like, no, I had this idea long before that happened. So, it's just coincidence. It's a common thing. Anyways, what are your high points and low points for episodes 1 through 5?
Like I said, I love the gray market episode. Everything's been established. The world, like, we kind of know all the rules, so to speak. And it was just a fun buddy episode with him, his new best friend, and that kid I mentioned earlier. And I just really enjoyed them going kind of off the grid and kind of exploring what's beyond their hotel he's at. I thought it was just a really dumb, fun episode. I just really enjoyed that one. Low point, once again, is also the funeral episode. For the same reasons you mentioned. It did seem a little bit odd that his life is in somebody else's hands because she paid that money. But beyond that, it was just really, the whole episode's just a downer. He's there at his funeral. He's kind of watching, like he's like on the other side of a view screen. So he's there, but like on the other side of a wall. And while everyone else kind of communes around him, and no one really gives a crap that he's dead. And it makes some sense because like death isn't final in this show anymore, right? So people are more dismissive of the uploads because they're still there. They're just no longer like present. So it's almost like losing touch with a friend. Like, that friend's still there. You just don't hang out as much anymore. So yeah, it was kind of just a downer episode. It was an important episode. It really did establish, kind of some socially what could happen if something like this did arise. But it wasn't a very fun episode. So that's probably the lowest point as well. And like I said, as far as low points go, it's not that low. I think the episode had to be there. It just, the overall theme is pretty lighthearted and fun. At least the first half of this is, the first 5 episodes. And that one was kind of just more of a downer ep. Still had some jokes and stuff, but it was just definitely more of a downer. So yeah, I'm with you on that one as far as downer go. But I didn't know what to expect from this. And first 5 episodes in, I was really impressed. I was enjoying it. I couldn't wait for the next episode. So I crushed this thing in a few days. So it was good.
I crushed all 10 episodes at once. It was a rough night for me, and I was just up and I couldn't sleep. So I watched all 10 episodes all at once. And as a result, I missed a little bit because I was up late and I was tired. So I watched it a second time. I enjoyed it more on my second viewing. Looking forward to more of it. Anyways, let's tie up episode number 3. We'll come back for episode number 4, and we'll talk more about the last episodes and our impressions and our hopes for what season 2 is going to bring to us. Tell us a little bit more where we can find out more about you, Ryan.
I'm the VR Grid. You can find my YouTube channel, the VR Grid. I run the website, thevrgrid.com, or social media, the VR Grid. You can't miss me. I do video reviews and written reviews for VR games, and I play live plays. I just love VR, and I love playing VR stuff. So that's where I'm at. Danthol, where can we find you?
For me, you can go to watchinvr.com. I have a series of my own that I just go out and about in Mesa or Vegas or wherever I want to go. Bring my cameras. There's a series there. You can find out all the other stuff I do at watchinvr.com. Thank you very much for watching episode number 3 of Pop Goes VR. Have a good one.
See y'all.